Welcome to the Build an App webinar. Build an App is a wonderful tool designed to assist in preparing applications by using the GRS, Genealogical Research System. One of the great things about using Build an App, commonly referred to as BAA, is that it will always create an application using the most current form. So how does one build an application? Once you are logged in through the member's website or an e-membership, identify the member's lineage in the Genealogy Research System, GRS, you want to use to build your application. Next to their national number, you will find a pale purple D. This means there is a descendants list for this application. Click on the D and you will go to the descendant listing. The descendants list is a transcription of the lineage page. If this is the lineage you would like to build off of, click on the icon Build Starter Application with List. You will see the overview of the Build Starter application. Before going any further, please read through the review and all disclaimers for very important details concerning this program. Then scroll down this page for the section on instructions. So far we have done steps 1 and 2. Now move on to step 3. Click on Start Building Application Now. The descendant listing will appear. You have the option of adjusting generations depending on where the applicant links to the record you are building from. Build an App automatically puts the member in generation 2. If the applicant is joining using her grandmother's application, you may need to shift down a generation to move the grandmother to generation 3. If the applicant is joining on her daughter's application, you will need to omit the daughter's generation and shift up 2 generations to move the applicant to generation 1. You will need to use the Omit a Generation button to remove the generations in the record that are not in the applicant's direct lineage. You also have the option of reading the instructions and returning to the descendants list. Once you have adjusted the lineage, click on Build Application. That will take you to this screen, where you click here to download. Be sure to save your application under a new name. And please don't forget that final copies must be printed on legal size, acid-free, 25% rag content paper, and the image must be set to print in legal size format. Further instructions are available if needed by clicking on the blue instructions link. When you click on the file downloaded, use the Save As option and rename the file. This will ensure that your work is not lost. If you do not rename the file, it will not save your changes. This is why we refer to it as Build an App. Here's an example of why you must review the lineage and ensure it meets current standards. This application is missing places. Though you may have used an application that was the applicant's grandmother, we will need you to search for a possibly more recent application on this lineage. When the most recent record is an older one with missing information, don't forget you must fill in the blanks and provide needed documentation. When typing additional information on an application, remember you must not alter the text font or add colors, change to a fancy font, or make the text in italics, blue, green, or red. This is not permitted. And if you discover that you need to adjust the generations, you still have the option of shifting generations up or shifting generations down. The first 3 generations of all national numbers starting at 600,000 will have incomplete information due to privacy concerns for our members. The missing information will need to be added by the person completing the application or supplemental by reviewing the verified application or supplemental using image access. Here we have the reference for lineage, page 3 of the application. You will see that the national number you are using is listed for the appropriate generations. When submitting new documentation for additional information, don't forget to list it on this page under the correct generation. Another very important thing to remember is to cite the most recent application for each generation. This will often mean that you have to build an app for each member whose lineage you are citing, and then cut and paste it into the appropriate place for both pages 2 and 3. Shown here is an example of where multiple members are cited for each appropriate generation using the most recent application for each generation. Here is page 4 of the application. On this page, you must check the section for the Ancestors service. This application has no source of service listed for this ancestor. You will need to search for a record that will verify his service rank and service description. On page 4, you are not required to type in the spouse's name or the children of the ancestor. It is helpful to list it here for others, but this section is optional. My final tips include to access the starter application through the GRS that is available on the member's website. You must be logged in at membersdar.org or through eMembership at emembership.dar.org. You will not be able to see it if you go through the public website. You must be logged in as a member. And you must also have Adobe Acrobat Reader installed on your computer. Have a strategy. Know the member's number whose lineage you will be using, but know that you may need more than one application to build, so that you are using the most recent application for each generation. Each application will be different. And be prepared to experiment with all the features. The initial download of the PDF is not the final product. You must take extra steps to fill in the missing pieces. Thank you for watching the Build an App webinar. We know you will love using this capability.